Hi there, it's Nancy. Good morning. It's about 6:15, 6:30 in the morning. I wanted to do a quick recap of what's going on in the garden before it got too loud around here. You can already hear it. It's garbage day, so it is going to be loud. Garbage and recycle, so we have two different trucks running around our small neighborhood. I'm going to give you a little overview of what we've been doing the past week or so. There's been some cool stuff that Mr. Nancy Grows Stuff has done, and some other things that I have tried too that seem to be working out pretty well. Alrighty, without further ado, here we go. Okay, as usual, we are going to start with the raspberries, which it's really crazy because they just grow everywhere. That's our box for our internet and whatnot for the house. Of course, it's right in the middle of the raspberries. Here are our miscellaneous tomato plants. Again, the ones that I have no idea what tomatoes they are, but if you'll notice, we got some flowers. What I've done is I have trimmed the bottoms off pretty well. Okay, you can see, taking those smaller leaves and making sure there's no suckers growing out because I want these to grow up, not out. Still doing pretty good with the lettuce. I planted the onions and they look pretty decent. They're staying up there. Peppers are going well. This California pepper is looking pretty decent. Cayennes are doing well, Bran. Doing well. And as we get over here, the fire pit's got to be burnt. We got to fix that thing up. We were going to get rid of it because we had ordered a huge contraption to go in the lawn, and it still has not come after 6 months. More strawberry or raspberries. This is where I store everything during the winter, but I still have stuff going on up here. Here's our safflower. The St. John's wort looks absolutely amazing. And this week I have to get those sunflowers into the ground. More raspberries. And of course there is a rose bush in the middle of the raspberries. It has beautiful pinkish orange roses. So Mr. Nancy Grows Stuff did bought these nice metal poles, and we needed to get the peas up on them. So they're starting to grow up on them, which is really, really nice. We wanted them again to grow up, not out. These squash plants are looking crazy good. There's some squash flowers on them. Look how nice they look. The big issue with the squash over here and anywhere actually are squash bugs. You have to get those squash bugs and get their eggs off those leaves the minute you see them, or else it'll decimate your entire squash crop. We had that problem, it was 3 years ago. It's labor intensive. You gotta go in, you gotta look at each one of those leaves. When they get a little bit bigger and the squash bugs come out, I'll do a video on that so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Our leftover bean plants are crawling up the trellises, which is nice. These are bamboo. These things are right here. Right here. They're not very sturdy, and I think this is going to be the last season on those. I don't know what's going on with my butterbush squash plants. Of course, I have no idea. This was brand new this year, and they look like they're dying. Got to do a little research. Turnips are looking amazing. We already pulled some radishes, and I forgot to take a picture. Sorry, you guys, but as you can see, there's radishes coming. Okay. And these are the golden sletta radishes. They take a little bit longer than most. The mint patch down there is looking good. We're getting ready for some mint juleps. And look at the grapevine. Look at this baby. I mean, you've got grapes everywhere. I'm gonna be excited, and I'm hoping the birds give us a tiny bit of a break on this whole thing and let us have some grapes this year. That catnip is out of control, absolutely out of control, but Delilah goes and lays in it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it up a little bit and dry it and do some dried catnip. Maybe Hannah's cat Rogue will like it, I'm not entirely sure. Carrots are a slow go, as carrots usually are in our yard. And we have never had a whole lot of luck with carrots. Here we are. Alrighty, here is the cilantro we're using it. Lad made some guacamole last night and used the cilantro. Pretty great to have fresh cilantro around. Lychees are coming up good. That basil plant's not working. Chamomile's coming up, and I just planted some more basil and fenugreek. You can see there is some fenugreek coming up. Again, extolling the virtues of fenugreek, and there's a little bit of basil coming up now. Over here are my marigolds. I think I talked about the marigold pesto that I had made last year. Just absolutely amazing. The marigolds are popping up. which makes me very happy. They took forever last year to grow. Lavender's planted. The olive tree, gotta do more research on that because I gotta figure out what the heck to do with it. The tamarillo tree, we've got to do some research on that. I'm not exactly sure what's going to go on with that tree. That says chamomile, but that is an actual weed. All this stuff is coming up good. This is all rosemary. Rosemary is extremely difficult to grow. Rosemary is extremely difficult to grow from seed, and it looks like it's doing it. I love the rosemary plants around in the winter time. Planted more holy basil. I had these cute containers, so I figured, what the heck, I'll try to use them for something. Strawberries coming in good. There are actual strawberries on here. You can kind of see, where were they? Oh, here they are. Yeah, got some strawberries coming. And this is X-Troy chewing on a stick, which is typical. Planted more lettuce in here. Okay. Took the rest of the, a good portion of the onions and planted them in here. Now, I'm not so sure the bigger ones are going to come in. These are red. That's a whole container of red onions. Over here we've got Tokyo onions. Tokyo onions are much smaller, so I'm thinking they're going to do okay in the container. Not so sure about everything else. Gooseberries are looking fabulous. Look at those gooseberries. Just amazing. Lad is so excited about that. Me too. I think it's going to be a really, really good gooseberry. Here's the garlic, and can you hear the garbage truck in the background? I thought I was going to get it done before he came up on our street. Sorry about that, guys. Garlic's looking amazing. It's German garlic in the back, and then this is called Music. These are the biggest stems and the biggest garlic we have had in years. So we're very, very excited about that. All right, got the tomatillos coming in really well here. Really well, and the herbs in the middle. I'm not so sure about those onions in the middle, but we just planted them, see what we could do with them. Here is our, let's see, we've got, oh no, he switched them. Those are tomatillos, and these are Hawaiians. Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to him about that. The basil, now I think I touched on this, when you have, when you put herbs around your tomato plants like this, it makes it so that pests don't want to come to the tomato plants because they can't stand the smell of the herbs. I love the herbs, so booyah, works out for me. Here are our big rainbows. They're going to be beautiful tomatoes, and they look pretty healthy. Again, onions don't look great. I don't know why that basil is not coming up there. Marjoram, good. Those are those Warokoa highs. I don't know, they're bushy green and they're really pretty. We're gonna have to see what they're gonna look like. Just a whole raised bed of mortgage lifters and some herbs, some onions in there. Mortgage lifters are looking pretty decent. Onions, just kind of put them where we could. Now these are the Ananase Noirs that look just amazing. They look beautiful, okay? Some herbs in the middle. This is a parsnip, but I'm not entirely sure if we're going to leave it there. This thing is getting out of control, and it's got this little thing on the top that I'm not entirely sure what that's all about. Just see. Keep going down, and we've got our Mariana's Peace. Now, the issue I have with the Mariana's Peace this year is that here's one Mariana's Peace, and there's the other, and the same one on the other side looks the same, and the same one on the other side looks the same on this. They're completely different plants. Look at that. They're completely different plants. I took the seeds from the same packet that I got. I get a lot of my heirloom seeds from Tomato Fest. I did write to him and say, hey, I don't know why this happened. I don't mess this kind of stuff up because I love my heirlooms. So it's so generous. Tomato Fest sent me some more seeds and everything. I can't plant them because it's too late now in the season for me to plant them, but I will definitely use them next year. It was nice of him to do that, but I'm kind of wondering which one is, I think this one, and that one is the actual Mariana's Peace. I'm not entirely sure what those are. Isn't it crazy that I have so many miscellaneous tomato plants around this place? All right, the beets are looking decent. Had to put a fence around it because the dogs seem to like walking in it. Beautiful. More basil, and these beauties are Paul Robeson tomatoes. They look like they're going to be just amazing. I'm kind of excited about it. Yeah. Potatoes have really taken off. Look at those potatoes. Lad's got a Mr. Nancy Grows Stuff has a process with these, so they're looking good. Over to the cucumbers. A trellis was built. We always have a problem being able to reach in to get our cucumbers. We end up missing quite a few and they end up getting too big and too bitter. So we've got a new system here, and it looks like the cucumbers are already growing up onto it. This one looks nice. They've done their little tentacle thing. Yeah, looks really good. We're gonna have to see how this goes. It'll be great just to see cucumbers hanging there. I know this is the row of tomato. This is tomato row. We have gotten the clay watering sticks. Of course, we've had to drink a little bit of wine to get the wine bottles, but there is a significant difference between the plants that have been used, that have been watered by these here, and then the plants at the end that have not been watered by those. I'll show you. Okay, so we got big rainbow, we've got black prince, which are beautiful, Cherokee purples. Those are all watered by them. Look how nice they look. We just put this one in, so it really hasn't had an effect yet, but the pink oxheart is making it. Vintage wine, got a few of those. Of course, the basil to keep the bugs away. I've got some more basil I'm planting today. More vintage wine. The funny part about everything is we always have miscellaneous tomato plants pop up in this row, in tomato row, and it's no exception now. There's quite a few popping up. I'll have to show you that next time. Here's Grandpa's Minnesota, which is a cherry tomato. Another peace vine cherry tomato, which is also a cherry tomato. Of course, I just said. Here's a miscellaneous tomato plant that grew in the middle of my basil, and I just couldn't throw it out, so I put it there. But these are the plants right here that are not being watered by the clay watering stick. Okay, they do look significantly smaller, so we've just got to drink wine a little bit quicker or get some wine bottles, because we've got the sticks, we just need to get them in there, and they seem to be working really well. All right, this is the table of miscellaneous. All those onion plants left, I'm not so sure we're going to be able to do anything with them, but we'll see. I planted all these herbs so I can put them around by all of the other tomato plants. Dill is coming up. I'm having a problem with sage this year. Thyme is coming up, rosemary's coming up, and of course the Genovese basil, and then we've got the mammoth basil coming up right there. Again, more onions. I planted one in each pot, so they should grow to the size of the pot. I'm not entirely sure. If not, we'll just have very tiny onions. Here's Troy looking absolutely beautiful today on her perch on the side. She actually loves sitting back here. She could be back here for hours. I planted all this stuff for Hannah, especially the oregano, which is not coming up yet. I'm just having such a hard time with oregano and sage this year. The mammoth basil's coming up. Got some dill coming up and stuff, but the sage and the oregano, I don't know what's going on with them. Here's some, that was the basil that was in that glass jar. I just took it out and stuck it in a container, hoping it would grow. Did the same with the oregano, and the oregano is finally coming up. Holy basil is coming up slowly but surely, and the fenugreek is going to give me another round, most of it except for that last one. I think that last one's kind of toast. Finally, the tarragon, I've got to let that go a little bit longer before I can cut it to dry it. Rosemary plants are looking great. This is these basil are my first basil that I grew inside, so they're getting ready to get icky. I'm gonna have to put them in the drying bin there. And my little violet, and then my primrose is looking decent. Cute sunshine sitting here waiting for me to come back in. That's it on this tour of the garden. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I'll do the front of the house where the beans and some squash and a bunch of tomatoes are. I'll do that one tomorrow, because it is actually quite chilly out here. It's about 49 degrees. I think that's going to be the end of our little chilliness, but have a great day, and like and subscribe if you like it and you want to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.